Hi, I'm Zon the Daddy Dev, and welcome to. This is a devlog, a Meatgamejam devlog. There's only so much time before the Meatgamejam ends, and I discovered something, and I'm excited, and I just want to talk about it, make notes for myself. Hopefully, you can get something from this as well. A little bit of a disclaimer: this is not for beginners. This is literally just a devlog about the Meatgamejam and my thoughts from what I've been learning from the Meatgamejam. So, here we go. A little bit about the picture. All these images are public domain. This is how I kind of see my learning in process. There is a car accident, and people help me try to fix it. Thank you so much for helping me try to fix it. It's awesome. I can't say that enough. The other thing you could title this is like Godot3, a finite state machine crash course. And it is a crash course in the sense that, yeah, I just jumped in. I really didn't want to do finite states for the Meatgamejam. I didn't think I had time, but I just ended up there. Again, it's my programming philosophy. It's nothing new. It just means fail faster. And more so to this point of how this ended up happening was I was a backer for Nathan GD Quest's course, and I got those courses and I followed them. I literally followed them to the point where I understood exactly what he was doing, and it had to be a finite state machine. That's what he showed. Now, the thing about this is, as I show the code, is that this project will have three sources. The first, I guess the first source will be the course material that you could get from the premium GD Quest course. And because of that, and I've said this before, but if Nathan is watching this, I am not releasing this code because that would be a dick move. And I think that if people really want access to that material, they need to pay for it. However, this program, this game does not just take from the GD Quest stuff. It also takes from Kids Can Code's Asteroids, which is open. Everyone can use that. I'll put a link below if I haven't already. And the other thing it's going to use an RPG system, dialogue system that's also anyone can use. And you can have links to those original files, plus a link to GD Quest's premium paid content, which is 100% worth it. Incredible value, because that course will actually show you how to use a finite state machine, give examples, and also give you things to play around with to figure it out. Plus wonderful videos, and there's more coursework ahead. And I mean, again, I'm not getting paid by Nathan in any way. I'm just telling you why it's worth it. There's also a related Discord to the course, and you can ask beginning questions related to the course in that Discord. So I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just stating why I bought it and why I think it's worth it. Okay. Enough said from there. I'll show you what I did. I did as far as program wise. So one thing, as I'm trying to keep this short and recording this the second time, I do apologize that I did not say this right. So when I posted this in the group, I said, hey, inside a finite state machine, how do you trigger a signal? And then I needed to call a function. Again, if you're following my stuff, thank you so much. And if you're learning from me, even better. You're learning from a guy who makes mistakes and is not a very good programmer. In fact, I was an artist. I'm an artist first, programmer second. And so for me, my big mistake was I thought it was a signal. It was me just needing to actually call a function. So a couple of things to set up the function. One thing I had to learn was, again, this is from the Kids Can Code part, the asteroid shooter or whatever, is that like I had to just put an underscore to shoot. I don't know if that's stylistics, to be honest, but that helps me call the function in the code. So I press Control F, I put shoot. Okay, I put shoot and I want to find it. It's above. Okay, that's the function. Yay. Okay. Then in the follow part of the state machine, I put shoot, and this calls that function. That's all I needed to do, and I'm really sorry. And the other thing about this is to make the player or the NPC, the monster, shoot again. I just put a timeout. Again, this function shoot timer is based off of the Kids Can Code tutorial, and I'll show you what happens. Oh, and pass means you just want the code to pass. You don't have to comment it out. I mean, you could just do this too, like select it all and Control K, comment out. All right, okay, anyway, save or not. Now when I press play, you'll see what I have. And you'll have a wait time. And 30 seconds. And yeah, there you go. All right, okay, sorry. I don't know if I'm going to edit this out. Man, this is taking a while. Like, I feel this is taking a while. Like, should I count? Should I sing? I don't. Okay, cool. So as we can see here, I had to reset. Like, my code got really bad, so I had to do it again. I have 2 of the enemy NPCs here again. And well, you'll see what happens when they find me. Oh, again, I haven't put the collisions for the lasers, which again, that's coming from Kidskin code. But you can see, whoa. Now, as you can tell, the enemy characters can't. Man, this is better yesterday. I hope I saved it. They don't fire right, and it's just a problem. that's hilarious. So, but the thing about this is though, is that what we have here is, one, they're following me. The initial animation's still there, and they are firing the gun. And there's also sound effects, so I'm really excited. All the sound effects and all that other stuff is from the Kids Can Code tutorial. Many of those things are Kenny's assets. I will be including licenses and stuff like that. Actually post the game to play from the Meatgamejam. Now, having said all this, and my initial question about, hey, inside a finite state machine, how could I trigger a signal? Amend, I needed to call a function. Sorry. Enrique Campos put a really good example of a finite state machine, and it's a really good example that actually emits a signal. And here it is. I might do the tutorial on this because people need to understand finite state machines. And this is a simple one. And it's good. And it also shows how to emit a signal. It answers the question, right? You have your enum states, idle, walk, jump, fall. That's how you set up the states. You have a variable. In this case, instead of it being null, he actually uses setGate, which is something I learned, which is really cool. And then that's how you can signal. And this is a great finite state machine related to a video game character in a 2D platformer, is from what I can tell. Thank you, Enrique Campos. I studied Spanish, and you might be Brazilian, but Portuguese is close enough, so I hopefully didn't butcher that name like I butcher everything else because I'm an American and at the end of the day. Anyway, so interesting enough, so Nathan got back to me. I was like, whoa, this is exciting. I haven't seen Nathan in this group. He just moved to Japan and stuff. And he noted this about the finite state machine. I saw this 2 years ago when I was doing Construct 2. I didn't understand the programming code. I didn't need to. I just need to understand the philosophy of finite state machine when using it in Construct 2. So looking at it now, I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. Like, since I've been studying GD script, a lot of this stuff is starting to make sense. However, I think it's in C#. It's in some other language, unfortunately. I just have to find what these are, the equivalent of these are in GD script. There's the basics that I needed to understand for Construct 2, right? This is a game loop for a character. And lo and behold, we have a enum, right? It's a little different GD script, but there you go. And yeah, great. Everything's right. Now, the thing that happens, though, is it talks about the downfalls of this, where the way I'm programming the game, and this is probably why my game crashed, and I can't just debug it. Like, literally, the code is messed up. Like, I can't even see where it's messed up anymore. I don't know. I copy and pasted code to the point that the engine broke. I broke Godot3. I don't know. I feel proud about that. Well, and then I'll put links to all this stuff. But basically, their solution to this came up with this, which is pretty good. This is kind of like a finite state machine where it actually adds a firing mechanic and then pops it off. So you have 2 states in a finite state machine, a stack for a finite state machine. This is one way to solve it. However, I got excited. I learned 2 things from this article that I just missed before because I wasn't really looking into programming anything. Behavioral trees and planning systems. If you're a fan of Halo or Bungie's work prior to the Activision debacle, that is whatever game that they have now, behavioral trees is how they programmed the behavior in some of the Halo games for enemy AIs, for better or for worse. And what I'm interested in in looking at behavioral trees initially, behavioral trees seem to remind me or are an analogous, or they look similar to the visual scripting of Godot 3. And so I'm very interested in this idea. And I'm saying this now, if you're a beginner or you're just listening to me talk, I hope this is something that you take away because I'm very excited about this. Is this idea that maybe the behaviors for these AIs, these finite state machines, or not finite state machines, better yet, this programming AI behavior could be done through the visual script. Why is that important? Well, that makes it a lot easier. I don't know about code optimization, but that would make it a lot easier if you use the visual scripting to program AIs. You could literally, like, it'd be like another analogy to like a brain, right? You could actually see how things are connecting and interacting. It would be closer to something like, let's see, where is it? It'd be closer to looking at something like this, where in the visual script, you could actually check and look at how your nodes and scenes are kind of connecting visually, which would be kind of cool, right? So that's just something I'm excited about. I, unfortunately, am not a fan of trees. I may be a novice, but, wanting to do programming, wanting to do games, I saw these trees before, they look like a headache to me. They look like it's a really hard thing. So planning systems, I got excited about. Like, I'm overly excited about. Like, I'm going to pass out because I'm not breathing, because it's like I fell in love for the first time. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's a GOAP, a GOAP, a goal-oriented action planning. And the GOAP is really cool because it talks about how it relates to a finite state machine. But it also shows this idea that you can just break them up into subclasses. And when you read through this, what's really cool about this is, I'm just going to, where's my pixel? Gosh darn it. I guess I'll just read their demo. Let's do a let's read, okay? What is GOAP? GOAP, goal-oriented action planning, is an artificial intelligence system for agents, like the Matrix, agents that allows them to plan a sequence of actions to satisfy a particular goal. The particular sequence of actions depends not only on the goal, but also on the current state of the world and the agent. This means that if the same goal is supplied for a different agents or world states, you can get a completely different sequence of actions, which makes the AI more dynamic and realistic. Let's look at an example as seen in the demo above. All right, here we go. So we have an agent, a wood chopper, that takes logs and chops them up into firewood. The chopper can be supplied with a goal, make firewood. That's their goal. And has the actions chop log, get axe, and collect branches, right? Well, check this out. The chop log action will turn the log into firewood, but only if the woodcutter has an axe. The get axe action will give the woodcutter an axe. Finally, the collect branches action will provide firewood as well without requiring an axe, but the firewood will not be high in quality. When you give the agent the make firewood goal, we get these two different action sequences. Needs firewood, get axe, chop log, makes firewood. Needs firewood, collect branches, makes firewood. If the agent can get an axe, then they can chop a log to make firewood, but that maybe they cannot get an axe, then they can just go and collect branches. Each of these sequences will fulfill the goal of making firewood. Now, to break this down into a story, and thinking of this, you hear buzzwords like, oh God, procedural generation, right? Well, let's back up in a sense. What if you could have stories that were based from NPCs' actions? And this idea of procedural generation, instead of it just being about level creation, what if it was about narrative creation? And you're in a game world where you see people that have to go get firewood, and if they don't get firewood, they can't stay warm, so they die of freezing to death. They can't cook their food, so they die from not eating. And they may fight, they may have wars, and this is what you're looking at. Now, all that stuff is just adding more, I would say, what is this called here? Would be adding more sequences, right? However, if you think of it more simple, again, because everyone says, do things simple. Nathan constantly says this, do things. Tim from Game Dev Underground says this. Everybody, it's good advice. Don't go big, go small. Ants, man. Ants are awesome. If you study ants, like you don't just kill them, even though sometimes you have to. You study ants, and ants, just think how simple they are. They're simple AI. In fact, that's like the AI, they make AI out of insects, like out of robots. They make AI out of insects. Pathfinding is there, all that stuff. Well, this doesn't even talk about pathfinding. Oh my God, that's gonna be heck. I just realized that would be heck. Well, anyway, ants can follow a path. They have little chemical senses, and they follow a path, and they can get sugar, and they can take the sugar back, right? They can avoid obstacles like water. They can freak out. They get afraid. They can tell themselves from other ants. So my goal at simplest would be just to maybe make the simplest ant behavior with artificial intelligence in a game. Get sugar, bring sugar back. And I'd die from excitement, probably. Hopefully not die, but I'd just be so excited, I'd just probably pass out. Like, I'm just excited right now. And so this is my goal now. Thanks to Nathan pointing this out. I want to make a GOP. Not for the Meatgamejam. There's no need. The thing I'm making right now, the finite state machine for the game, is close enough to working for the Meatgamejam. Excited. I can move on to the next feature and the next thing of code, which would be template stuff? Oh, no. The RPG dialogue system. Okay, that's my goal for the next 2 days or whatever, fixing animation. But this is what I'm sharing. This is why I'm excited about. Again, I do apologize that this is not something that is friendly for beginners. But again, this is like my obelisk. This is like a pseudo religion for me. I can easily give 2 to 3 years of my life to this, and hopefully it won't take that long. And my plan is to do game jams related to building on this type of concept and programming. I will do my best to make this approachable to other code monkeys like me, jumping around in excitement, or maybe freaking out like this guy who's scared of finite state machines. So yeah, I don't want to make this thing too long, but again, a couple more comments I do want to share. Lars, thank you so much. You're thinking about separating the states into classes. What you're writing is not an object-oriented state machine, it's a stateful object. I'm like, what? A stateful object? I'm still processing what that means, but I think it's cool. We'll find out. Again, you're learning from, if you are learning from me, you're learning from a guy who's learning as he goes and makes train wrecks and learns not to make those train wrecks again. One file contains all the code for all the states. He says it's harder to debug. Yeah, I just reset, man. I went back to an older file. I still haven't imported all the code from the Kids Can Code stuff or the RPG system, but yeah, I just reset because my file is buggy. He's 100% right about that. One file contains all the code. So I understand this as I was doing this in Construct 2. I just make kind of like a global sheet, or a sheet that affects everything. And then every state can access and modify the data of the other states. Every state can modify the state variable that determines which state you're currently in, which is really cool. I'm gonna cough. Okay, and then yeah, Nathan put this out. Yeah, I was a backer. I cannot speak the gospel. Sorry for all the religious terminology. The course is worth it, man. The course is 100% worth it. And again, yeah, I would check it out. I put a link to it all the time. He talks about the limitations within the course, and he you know, I got overzealous, so excited. He's also told me, you know, need to calm myself down when it comes to the materials that he's providing. I get it. However, it's a great fundamental background. Thanks to Nathan, I understand finite state machines. I'm not afraid of them anymore. But he does have a point. It confuses a lot of people. I said this wasn't really for beginners. I have a link to a simple state machine. There are simple state machine files that are already in Godot. You just have to be able to see them, identify them. And I can see how this is scary, but it's not that scary. I can also see why people say coding is hard, programming is hard. It's not that hard. You just have to learn the basics of what makes it up, and then play with it, right? Oh, shoot. Chad Wolf's going to be in this video. Well, good. That's nothing bad. He's not cursing at me. Okay. This is where I'm ending this. I have to thank Lars. He's, it's not like he's given me a lot of support, but he's given me a lot of support, right? Nathan, I just would never have been able to do any of this stuff. It's just great. Nathan has tons of free stuff. Put a link to it. You can check that out if you just don't have the money to pay for his premium stuff. But if you can get the premium stuff, it's amazing. Thank you, community. Thank you, Rita Mohammed, who asked me to make videos related to Godot 3. There isn't a day I don't think about you at least once between work, my child, and making games. And, thanks to everybody who is watching this stuff. I literally am living to make these videos for anyone who follows and learns from me or just watches this stuff. And right now I've just found this thing, and I hope as I work more towards the goal of understanding how this GOP, GOAP system works, that other people can learn from this stuff. And maybe I can get more help developing better GOPs for everyone to use. insert catchy phrase here. I hope this is shorter. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.